Good evening, everyone. It is our March Board of Directors meeting for the Delta Amateur Radio Club. Hope everyone's doing very well on this nice rainy evening. Perry, if you could give us a roll call, I sure would appreciate it.
Very well. President Joe Plunk,
Present.
Vice President Tyler Henley,
Here.
Secretary Perry Hayes, present. Treasurer Jim Martin is ill. Director of Training Joe Lowenthal.
Here.
Director of Programs Adam White.
Here.
I thought I saw Adam a minute ago. There he is. Okay. Director of Meetings and Special Events Scott Adams.
Present, sir.
Director of Publications Mike Harrison.
Present.
Repeater Trustee Dan Fleek. All right, we're missing a couple. Immediate past President Ty McMahon. All right, we're missing 3 folks, but we still do have a quorum, Mr. President.
Fantastic, Perry. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate everyone joining us tonight. We'll jump right in into the have a little bit of news that I'll share with everybody, and then we'll talk about any minutes that we need to talk about, and then we'll move into renewals and new apps. We'll cover the treasury report, and then if I don't know that we've got any bills, but we'll talk about the membership meeting, and then we'll jump into committees, and then we've got some new topics to talk about and try to get all of this done as quickly as possible. I had a real good day today. Just a real quick thing. Talked with Fred Miller and Rick Kanchak. Sorry, I mispronounced his name. Of Neshoba and MARA. Had lunch with them today. Topic was really just to talk about field day and how they'd like to see us come together as 3 clubs working together on field day. Had some good ideas. I'll share those later in the topics that we have around field day, and we'll go from there. With that, I'll ask Perry, do we have any minutes that we need to discuss or bring up?
Well, my minutes of the membership meeting for February were circulated by email late last week. I did not get any additions or corrections.
Okay. So as I would take that the board does not have any objections to getting those approved and passing those on to the membership for approval.
Nope.
All right, I would entertain something. I would entertain a motion to approve our membership minutes and pass those along for approval by the membership. Quiet crowd tonight. Thank you, Joe. Joe made the motion, and I guess I'll second that. All right, motion made to approve our minutes and approve those as published by our secretary and pass those on to the membership for approval. Seconded by myself. All in favor, please say aye. All right. Let's move into our membership renewals. I'll play the part of Jim tonight for a minute, and Perry, if I miss anything, or you can correct me. Jim sent this over in his report. I put it in tonight's agenda. Hopefully everyone got the agenda early today. I was working hard to make sure that wasn't sent out 10 minutes ahead of time. We've got 3 new members and 1, 2, 3, 9, if I counted correctly, 9 renewals with a member that it went ahead and extended into 2026. Go ahead, Perry.
That's correct. I was just counting.
Gotcha. I had to do the same thing. got some returning members. Good to see. Got some new members. So that is fantastic to see. Do we have any discussion around our renewals and new applications? All right, hearing no discussion, I would entertain a motion to approve our new members and renewals as presented by our treasurer, Jim.
So moved.
So moved by Perry and seconded by Adam. Fantastic. Motion made to approve new members and renewals made by Perry, seconded by Adam. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Fantastic. All right, treasurer's report. I'll do my best to do my best Jim imitation. Looks like we had a couple of deposits, probably mostly centered around membership renewals. I'm not 100% sure what the $15 deposits were on that. Since we're not in prorated dues period, I'm not sure. There may have been patches or something along those lines. Not 100% sure. We did have
One
two
is
checks that were
ARRL.
presented. Okay,
ARRL
that's
members, three renewals.
good. Good to know. So those are that explains one of the $15 ones. I'm not sure what the other one was. Jim did not provide that detail, and it's fine. We had two checks. The $419.83 was the hotspot to Mobile Citizen, and the $123.50. I don't remember what that one was. Let me see if I can pull that up.
Was that to reimburse Dan?
I think that may be Scott's reimbursement because Dan hasn't sent in his receipts yet. That may be Scott's reimbursement. Let me see if he put that in his notes. I apologize. No, it's just in his report. If we have any questions or concerns about that, we can certainly ask him. I'm 100% sure it was a receipt-based reimbursement. And then we did have, I'll move on for just a minute.
123.50 was the audio board, I believe.
That is, you're correct, Scott. You did call that. That was the receipt for Dan for the Echolink node for Dan. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. I was trying to pull the receipt up without having to leave the share. So that's what those two checks presented for payment were. Then our balance is there. And if I had just flicked down to the next page, Jim had, of course, shown us what was there, and I just didn't advance the slides. So there are the two checks that were presented. There's the $15 for the ARRL, and then 3 Delta Club patches for $15. I will call out that our CD that we had talked about in February, giving Jim the ability to go renew that. He did get that renewed. And that is now showing here that it is renewed for February of 2025. No, excuse me. That's the last one. He did have that one renewed. I apologize. He did send me that was renewed for overlooked that. So let me just pull that up real quick.
The October of 25.
Correct. The one that we had given him permission to renew, he has gotten it renewed. I was just going to give the details. He sent me the details.
It's
and I
at
just
the
don't
bottom
have
of it. He renewed it on the February 23rd, and it goes to October 22nd.
Right, but he sent me the interest amount. It was like 4.25. It's showing 4.16 here, but the long-term interest for it was like 4.25. Anyway, it's renewed per their agreement that we gave the board gave him last month. I'm just following up on that. That's all. Any questions around the treasurer's report? All right, I would entertain a motion to approve our treasurer's report.
So
Make a
moved.
motion that we approve.
All right,
Second, Perry.
Mike. Okay. Perry made the motion. Mike seconded it to approve the treasurer's report as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Fantastic. Um, all right. We don't have any, Jim did tell us that we don't have any bills presented for payment, so there are no bills for that. Unless anyone here at the board meeting has any bills. Does anybody have any bills that we need to talk about, and then they can present to Jim at the membership meeting?
Well, I might be going to the store to pick up some snacks. I haven't decided.
Okay,
I might make a trip. So there might be a check.
okay,
Meaning a check.
I've got a
Very good.
$200
I mean,
bill
that's-
for the batteries.
very good. Both of those are all approved, so this shouldn't have any issues getting those checks cut for y'all at the membership meeting. Scott, if you want to catch up with Jim and I, or we can make us a prearrange to get you the check ahead of time so that you could potentially have the tax exempt
Go
certificate.
get, admit Dan.
I'm trying to get out.
Yes, sir. Let me find where is that admit button?
Might go under participant and bring it up from participants.
Yes, sir. It's not showing that he's in the waiting room.
He just texted that it shows it on his screen.
Uh, his link is for 2024. He needs the 2025 link. That picture he sent says December 3rd, 2024.
Let me take care of this for one moment. All right, I sent him the updated Zoom link. Let's make sure he gets it. Does everybody have the Zoom link kind of parked somewhere? I had sent it out in the presentation today.
I saw that. Is that
I got it in the presentation today.
I got it from your email that you sent a couple back in February.
I got the January one.
Yeah.
Okay. I will make sure to, after the meeting tonight, send it via email to everyone on the board so you can have it in email, but I also did have it in the presentation. I did make sure that Dan got it. Let me make sure he got that.
Is there a way you could do a calendar invite and put it in there, Joe? Or and that way it'd be on all the DARC board's calendar?
Yes, sir. I will look into that. After the meeting, I'll look into that and make that happen. All right, let me re-slideshow this. Admit Dan. All right. Dan is joined the meeting. Woo-hoo.
Welcome to the meeting, Elvis.
He's in the building.
That's right.
Good evening, Dan. Oops, wrong way on them. All right, presentation of bills. We talked about that. Scott, we talked about that. Just catching everybody back up. So we're down to member meeting topics. The 6 p.m. Ham 101 slot, or I think that's we're kind of rolling that into kind of a ham tech supports, ham supporting hams kind of time slot. For this particular membership meeting at 6 p.m., it's going to be how to program DMR. And I think Dan and Adam are going to take that time slot and kind of be there to support whoever wants to show up and learn how to bring their DMR radios into configuration and get a code plug loaded on them. I would assume Adam or Dan, either one of you, that there'll probably be a Sparks article to that effect to kind of detail that session out, because you'll need to bring your laptop and your radio and your programming cable and those pieces and parts.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will probably send
Fantastic.
something out probably
Okay.
tomorrow, because last minute's notice on it, I'd rather post something as soon as possible.
Absolutely. We've got the meeting part for the meeting membership is going to be on Meshtastic. We've got a guest speaker, Ryan Turner. Thanks to Adam lining that up. Meshtastic is ham adjacent. It's not necessarily amateur radio, but it is adjacent to the amateur community, and it is taking off and is becoming quite popular among the community. I will have to say that I don't know much about it, so I'm looking forward to the presentation. And Ryan and by Adam has asked basically to have both parts of the membership meeting. So we'll stick a break wherever he finds a convenient spot. We'll put a membership break in there, have a get up, a break, get up, stretch your legs, grab a drink, sit back down, and finish up the rest of the Meshtastic presentation. Any questions on that or anything to add to that, Adam? I didn't mean to talk for you.
No, I'm double checking that he's going to do the full session, but I'm pretty sure that's what it'll be. So.
Okay. Fantastic. All righty. I didn't quite get the repeater update completely updated. Dan, you want to update us on our repeaters?
We worked on DMR a little bit this weekend. Got the amp, got the cable in, so we put the jumper on For the receive, move the jumper over and patch the amp in, and it's working fine. I'm not seeing any descents. It's working like it should. Saw some problems dropping conversations, and thought maybe that was related to high packet loss, because I was connected to San Jose and reprogrammed it to get to a closer master and fix some packet loss. So it's working good. We did the network run. Thank you all that helped. After I left, I went and checked, and the repeater was off Brandmeister. Don't know what happened, whether we bumped a cable or what. I wound up moving the hotspot back down to the repeater end, the DMR end, and Joe came back out, and we swapped the TP link out with a D-Link switch. That's probably a lot more reliable, so we think that fixed it. Any more monkeying with that, we'll probably do it next weekend. Tentatively, next weekend we'll be putting All-Star on the 8.2. And that's about as far as we've gotten so far. The net linking and stuff sounded really not well, and Alan bumped up the CPU. He bumped up the type of server that he had in the data center. Cost him a little more money, but he bumped it up and got the horsepower he needed. Now his processing packet's better, and we should see that improve. Looks like they
And that
were.
was for which net was that, Dan? That was for the weather service.
Yeah, there's a Alan has a virtual machine in a data center somewhere, probably in Dallas, that handles the link between All-Star and DMR, Brandmeister. It's a DV switch that connects to Brandmeister through Open Bridge, and I don't think he was getting enough horsepower to process things. So there's types of VMs you can get. One of them's like a basic, and then you bump it up and it gets a better one where you get more CPU speed, but it also costs more money. But looks like he's going to have to do that to do the bridge.
That's for the
Okay.
top group.
Yeah, that's for when he's bridging All-Star to the WeatherNet. DV switch is the product he's using.
All right. Any questions on on that discussion?
I'll probably be purchasing another Pi device and another audio card. I've got the audio card that we were going to use for Germantown. Alan's got a Pi that he'll loan us, and we'll use the audio card for that, and then purchase another audio card in Pi Star, and that's going to be about $180. And that'll give Alan a replacement, and then get it the 8.2 up and going. So we'll have the 8.2 and Germantown on All-Star.
That'll be a nice link, I think. What is everybody, any comments or observations or discussion on that?
I think it'll be awesome.
Yeah, it's not something we want to abuse. Like, I don't want the 8.2 to be, it's already the most kerchunked repeater in Shelby County. So I don't want that thing to be linking and unlinking and linking and unlinking. So we'll kind of save it for I guess I call administrative. We'll either link it up for the weather net, and maybe we can link it periodically to the Germantown repeater. I don't know, but going to be kind of conservative on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want it going out to all these other nets. I don't think it needs to be done as much territory as we do cover.
Yeah, the weather net will probably be about it for nets.
That's fair. It's nice to have the capability and the features that it puts on the table for us. That doesn't mean that we always have to have it always on. We can use it in times of need or in times of appropriateness. So I think that's a great thing to have. Dan, thanks for working hard with Alan to make that happen.
Yeah,
All
I don't
right.
want to turn it into like D-Star where somebody keeps it linked up to 30 Charlie for days on end. That's do not want that. And it's not your personal link it to the Alabama net or anything.
Sure.
Weather nets only.
And it does give us a new controller for the 8.2 machine. And because the controller would then be connected via the internet that we have there for the site now, we do get some additional functions and features for the new controller for the 8.2 machine. We can change up our announcements. We can have a little more tuned announcements on the controller. We've got a Delta Club meeting tonight versus a net, those kinds of things. So
Yep.
I think that's all fantastic capabilities that brings us up a little bit more modern. So appreciate that, Dan. All right,
And
let's switch over.
Oh, it'll
Go
change the
ahead.
time by itself too.
That will be nice on this weekend going into daylight savings times this coming up weekend. Everybody don't forget to spring forward. Give that hour. All right, let's take a minute. Sparks. I want to make sure we try to get those into Mike as early as we can. Later this evening, I'm going to try to get mine over to him so that I'm not the slow person this time around again. I'd love to see each of you try to contribute something in Sparks. Doesn't have to be a lot, just something. Just so that our members get to know us and can see us, and it brings some of our experience and thoughts to Sparks for them to see just different aspects of what each of us as board members find interesting in the community. Any questions on Sparks? Mike, you got anything you want to add to that?
No, nothing about Sparks, but Jonathan Urchel, he had spoke up about interest in becoming the director of publications. So I don't know what the process is for that. So I guess, I didn't ask him to come to this meeting. I really wanted us to discuss. So what would be, I guess, the process to bringing him on board and replacing me if he so
Sure.
desires?
Well,
What
is
that
this
would be
early
is
on or for next year?
Either.
For next year, it's an election.
Yeah.
If you resign, then the president, I guess, appoints with the board's approval.
Okay.
correct. What I was going to say, Mike, is what I'd like to see happen is I'd like to see you kind of go through the Sparks process with him once or twice.
Okay.
And then if you would like to step down this year, as soon as he's comfortable with it, then you would resign basically, and we would appoint him into that open position.
All right. So can I invite him then in the membership meeting? Can I ask him to attend, I guess, the April board of directors meeting, and then maybe go through the creation of Sparks for April, and then let him make a decision if that's something that interests him?
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound like a good path?
Any member
yeah,
can come to
absolutely.
the
So
board
any of
meeting.
our
Okay.
Indeed.
Okay. Well,
Our
that'll
our
be the
board
path.
members, our board meetings are open to anyone that chooses to attend. We just ask, the only thing we ask our membership is if you're welcome to attend our board meetings, just let us know and we'll get you the invitation.
Okay.
They're not closed to the membership.
Gotcha. Okay. Oh, that'll be the path forward. Then I'll ask him if he would be interested in attending the next directors meeting, and then go through Sparks, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, and you're welcome to engage him this weekend as you put Sparks together this weekend as well. Just kind of
Okay.
walk him through the process of what it is and what you do and how you do it, when you do it, and the amount of time you take and website update. I mean, just, you're welcome to start bringing him in and apprenticing
Okay.
him. And then as he solidifies that and firms up his decisions, we take it each little step at a time.
Okay.
I'm glad to
sounds
hear
very
that there's
good.
somebody that raised their hand. That's exciting to hear
Absolutely.
that you've got somebody that's interested. I know Jim is the next one in line, and he is looking anxiously for someone to step up into his position as well too.
Right. All right. So that'll be the path forward. And thank you so much. I have nothing else other than just, I've already started working on Sparks for March. And so just as soon as I get everything in, I'll send it out.
All right, cool. Did want to just take a quick minute as a new topic to talk about renewals. I haven't had a chance to get with Perry and look through the membership rolls to see how we're doing on renewals. Kind of based on what we're seeing, I think we're doing pretty good. But I'd ask you if you know anybody that had renewed, just ask them, hey, are you getting your value out of Delta Club? Can we get your renewal in so that we can get them renewed and get that taken care of? All right. Did want to talk about field day. We talked a little bit about this, and field day is 3 months away. It's in June. And I mentioned earlier that I did have a good conversation with Fred Miller, the president of the Neshoba Amateur Radio Club, and lunch with Rick Hanchek today, who's the president of the MARA club. We've traditionally done field day with them as 3 clubs together in the past. Fred confirmed that we do have the Germantown park location as we've had in the past. We've got the pavilion and we've got the permission to go through overnight at that location. So we had a good roundtable discussion about some of the things that just some observations from their club and their clubs, our clubs, to try to make field day a little better. And one of the things that we kind of talked through was we want to set up a schedule so that we don't have any one person or persons that are having to, work 24 hours straight. We want to try to get, 2-hour slots, and so that the burden isn't so overwhelming that, everybody feels that they have to stay overnight. No, we want you to have fun with it. We want it to be a social engagement more than a contest engagement. We also felt that it's important to put a little effort into the antennas because we think that if we get people there, new people there, and they can actually hear people and talk to people, that's going to present itself better than if they're just hearing a bunch of static on the radio. So Fred's going to make sure he brings back his 20-meter vertical. I talked to them about the idea of potentially using the light poles that are there in that lower field to make an 80-meter loop, or even maybe with a little advanced planning, maybe even an 80-meter rhombic to try to get some gain and directionality. And the other thing that they said they thought was something that might be beneficial is we've had our operators scattered out through the park in the past. And one of the observations that we had from our winter field day experience was it was a lot of fun when we had all the operators close together and we could actually hear everybody as we were sitting there trying to make contacts and working the bands. So if we could try to bring our operators at our summer field day event a little more closer together so that we're not so far apart. It's HF, we've got plenty of coax. The longer coax runs aren't going to be that much of a an RF penalty from a loss perspective at HF frequencies. Now at VHF and UHF, that's a totally different story. We totally understand that. But at HF frequencies, you know, an LMR 400 run is not going to be super, super lossy. So we're going to try to do a little more to try to bring the operators together. They did feel that it was a fun activity to operate, you know, through the overnight so that we could chase the gray line as the different countries come online and go offline as the bands open and close. And then the final observation was to try to have, and Dan, I think you summarized this best about when we had winter field day, just the social aspect of cooking our meal or doing a dinner, you know, over a grill or some sort of activity along those lines. Those were some of the thoughts that we talked about at lunch. So that's what we talked about at lunch with Fred and Rick. I'll open the floor up to the rest of the board to kind of hear some feedback and some of your thoughts and observations on field day.
I think you're going to find it's a lot of chatter trying to hear stations and everything when you have everybody in the pavilion. It's bad enough. It's been bad enough as with CW, GOTA, and the other station in the past years.
Fair. And this is all discussion right now. We haven't
Yeah.
gotten to June, so this is a conversation, and we'll get together and start working out some specifics. The bigger thing about this is we're talking about this now instead of in May. We're trying to get a little more ahead of it a little bit. Anyway, any other comments, observations?
Yeah, I mean, even if we don't have everybody in the pavilion, maybe it's like Joe says, it's noisy. People are sitting around eating pizza and yakking. Even if they're just closer to the pavilion where you can walk between stations and not hike. So it doesn't have to be everybody shoulder to shoulder, but
Well, you're
little
going to have to be
closer.
sure to separate the digital versus the single sideband. That's definitely got to be separated.
You do have to have some antenna separation.
Right. I think the antennas would still be scattered.
Well, I
That's
don't,
at least what was mentioned.
you know, that can be a trip hazard.
It can be. It can be managed as well.
The GOTA station last year worked pretty well, even with that CW right by it. You know, maybe just from my point of view, maybe one more station inside of there. If somebody's bringing some headphones or something, would probably be all right. But it was very convenient to have the food and the welcome table there as well. Just enough traffic to not be too terribly crazy.
So I guess a question that I haven't asked is, we are interested in doing field day with Neshoba and MARA. I'm asking that because I hadn't asked that question. I guess that's a safe assumption, but I need to ask.
Yep, I'm for it.
All right. I know that last year we operated and the field day call was W4BS, and typically we alternate back and forth. And Neshoba was the GOTA call. And then if we traditionally alternated, Neshoba would potentially be the field day call, and W4BS would be the GOTA call.
I would let MARA call, which is a little bit shorter. Let Neshoba have
I'm sorry?
let Neshoba have the GOTA station, and use W4EM?
We don't know for sure that MARA is going to come to field day just yet. They haven't officially confirmed yet. Their meeting's on Thursday, so we'll see if they actually confirm that they're going to be at field day. Rick was interested and was going to present it as coming, but he didn't have the club's buy-in yet. But W4EM certainly would be a little easier than Neshoba's call. The reason I bring that up, because it would also let us determine what we're going to call the club combination, so that we could publish that ahead of time, so that participants that are not at field day that want to give credit to a club, we'd have the correct, okay, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be Neshoba DARC MARA field day. So they could know the right spelling and such, that the log would be submitted so they could give their credit to them, that club activity. Any other field day questions, observations? I know somebody, I have a good idea of who I'd like to ask to lead us a little bit forward on the field day activities. He did a really good job with winter field day.
Somebody with military leadership experience.
Y'all are getting oddly specific at this point in time. But pretty sure I'm back from. I will definitely be there 100%, no problem, and I will bring lots of fun people.
I think Josh and Matthew would be a great pair to commandeer. Now, if we could get your dad to commandeer and come in and play with us a little while, that'd be fun too. But he's probably going to stay at his station and do field day.
Probably.
There's plenty of us to help around, but Tyler, I would ask, if you don't mind, would you be interested and would you take point on kind of taking our field day leadership and kind of running point with it?
Can do.
Much appreciated. Not much really action on field day right now, other than we got Tyler to lead it. Is there any other discussion before we move on? I want to try to be respectful of everybody's time. I think we might be able to get done without going long tonight. Any other field day discussion?
Engage Ham Hilliard.
Absolutely. One of the things, I forgot, I'm glad you mentioned him, because one of the other things that Fred brought up is he's got a good working relationship with the library, and he thinks that we could probably have at least one or two or maybe even three little seminars in their air conditioned room. Like maybe even one that we talked about was, hey, what does a new station setup look like, or how do you set up a new station, as a little seminar at, say, 3 o'clock in the library. Come learn about an amateur radio station. That'd be a seminar in the library in the air conditioning. Or, come learn how to make a field antenna at 2 o'clock, in the library. So he did mention that. So he offered that, put that on the table. So Ham would be a great resource to plug into that. So Joe, thank you for bringing that up.
Well, I was talking about having him operating a station, heading up a station.
Oh, that would be fantastic. I'd love to see have Ham operate. That'd be fantastic. I'll reach out to him at the meeting, or if I forget, somebody mentions it to him, I'm sure he'd love to do that for a while. I don't know that he'd stay all 24 hours with us, but I'm sure he'd be there for a good bit.
Last year,
anything else on?
What was it? Last year or the year before, he did antenna.
Last year he did a 20-meter vertical antenna seminar. Had a good crowd. Good crowd.
I thought the 20-meter antenna, the vertical he talked about, we used worked well.
That's Fred's antenna.
Yeah.
I
talked about how to build one.
I thought Ham did having two vertical antennas together was that the year before?
Last year he talked about vertical antennas. I don't know that he talked about putting them in a phase or not, but he
But, yeah,
definitely
phased
talked
array.
verticals. He definitely talked about vertical antennas, but I don't know if he talked about phasing them. But he definitely had a vertical antenna class last year at Field Day. I was unable to attend it, but he had a good crowd. I watched it from the GOTA station. All right. Anything else on Field Day? Good conversation, everyone. Thank you very much. Let's keep the good conversation going. Tyler, if we need to have a little separate one-off meeting, let us know. We'll set you up get you some good Zoom links going, whatever you might want to do. I'll hook you up with Fred and Rick so that they can plug you into their club counterparts as well, so we can start coordinating the schedule. And then if we want to, we can use either a Google form or a Google Sheet for the sign-up session. We can get that link created and published so we can start having people speak for the time slots.
Okay, cool deal.
All right. With that, if there's no other additional comments or observations on Field Day, we'll circle back around because it'll come back up. I'd like to take an opportunity to talk about Free Fest. It is an opportunity. We're supporting Free Fest. We provided 2 batteries that Joe found a really good deal on. Thanks, Joe, for that. It's coming up in April. We've got a couple of net control operators on here. If you're running the nightly net, when you think about it, just mention Free Fest, mention the dates. Don't have to make an overly large amount of announcements about it, but do want to mention it and try to promote it for MARA. And the ham radio community in Memphis. It is a fantastic opportunity to have a ham fest here without having to travel. There are other ones around that are popping up. You know, I know there's one coming up in Trenton, and there's one some other places, and there's always our bus trip to Huntsville in August, which we'll talk about. So really all I wanted to do is ask 2 questions of the board. Have an opportunity, if you have someone to mention it, to talk about Free Fest. And is there any objection from the board about putting a fairly, maybe the 1-page Free Fest flyer that MARA has, going ahead and including it in our Sparks edition?
No problem.
All right, Mike, if you could make a point to try to, I think MARA has it on their website. If you couldn't find it, let me know, and we'll include that in our Sparks that goes out this weekend to bring that to our membership attention.
All right, will do.
I can put it out on Facebook.
Thanks, sir.
Facebook too.
That would be fantastic. All right. Next point I had was Adam's programming survey. Adam, how's that going? Have we gotten any additional responses? I think you're muted.
Did somebody just say milkshake?
Can you hear me now?
We did.
Okay. No change. We're still at 8, so we're just gonna roll with what we have.
Fair enough. Do you feel comfortable with how the programming is shaping up for kind of the next little bit?
Yeah, I'm running out of my own topics to present on, so if I could get somebody could plug me into people who have their own niche, that'd be helpful.
I will say I'm looking forward to the Meshtastic presentation myself.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that's a good one.
Yeah, I went to
All right,
Ryan's Mestastic in Tipton County last week or last
Oh, yeah.
month, and
Yeah.
pretty good.
Cool.
Adam, if you're looking
all
for
right.
program David Norris, Delta Division Director.
Yeah, I emailed him yesterday.
Cool.
Did he, well, you emailed him yesterday, so you haven't heard any, he hasn't come back to you.
No, not yet.
Gotcha. All right. Does everyone, March was kind of our, we didn't have a ton of things that we needed to really kind of talk about in the March board. Excuse me. I did want to take a quick moment. I had year at a glance planner. I sent that out at the beginning of the year. Excuse me. The action items that we have from the year at a glance planner is really to talk about the Huntsville bus trip and whether or not we need to commit to getting the bus reserved. So I'll ask Joe, have you had any opportunity or conversation with, I believe it's Klein, regarding
I
our
haven't.
bus to Huntsville in August?
I can. I'll
Okay. That's
see what they.
just-
I'll see what they are, charging.
right. So we can start planning for it. Because August is 4 months away. Yeah, no, 5 months. Can't do math. We'll be here before we know it. I'm looking forward to the Huntsville trip. That was a lot of fun last year. It's the first time I got to go last year. Hopefully, I'd love to ask a special point for all of us on the call tonight. Just find some new hams, new members, and just encourage them to attend the Huntsville trip. I think they have a lot of fun with that. All right. I did want to take a minute, and we're not, take just a minute and talk about the 6 p.m. hour. Adam, Dan, I know y'all had some luck with that last month, kind of running the WinLink Tech Support Forum. And you've had some good luck with some conversation around really having that 6 p.m. hour kind of being ham tech support. Want to just kind of open the floor for a minute to everyone to kind of roundtable that for a minute and get some feedback or observations on that real quick and see if that's kind of the direction we want to take that 6 p.m. hour. I think that could be a lot of fun. Adam, Dan?
Well, I haven't been to the 6 o'clock before, but I have something similar at work where we call it office hours, and it's a chance for some of the people that come to us for issues and trying to learn is that we have it kind of a forum, but I usually have a topic in mind that I want to go over with him. But it gives everybody a chance at an informal setting to, hey, what's on your mind? What are you having problems with? And when I was in the digital club, we used to have the hour before it was supposed to be bring the radios to program. I like having a kind of a goal, like we're doing DMR programming, but maybe a better name than Ham 101 is just tech support or something, so that people don't feel like, that's for beginner stuff. No, bring the radio, bring your laptop, we'll make it work. I don't know if Adam has other ideas about topics we can cover.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Possibly renaming it or just leave it Ham 101 and say this is what we're going to do. But I think doing tech support for the previous month's topic, presented on DMR programming last month, and this month tech support will be DMR. We can, anybody can come in with anything and we'll try to help, but the main focus. And then for April, tech support could be Meshtastic, so.
That's a great way to have continuity, Adam.
Mhm.
And it can also be anything else, it doesn't have to just be limited to Meshtastic or DMR. It's it could be ask an Elmer or ask for support, or I need, or the session could just simply be I need help, or something along those lines. All right, so I think that's a great opportunity for us to create a conversation around and a gathering of people around the hobby that's not necessarily program driven, but allows members to connect with other members. So thanks for taking that, Adam, and kind of fostering that and running that. Before we move into kind of member reports and close out, I do want to take a quick minute. Joe, I want to thank you for sending out the new ham letters and the maintaining the frequency and net list that you sent out a few days ago. Just appreciate that effort that you put into that, and all of the communication that you put around that and in that around the new hams as they go through the classes and get their license, whether that's their technician or their upgrades to general and extra. So I just wanted to acknowledge that and thank you for that. Did everybody
Mike
have a
will,
chance to see
have
those documents?
copies at the test session.
Okay. All right. Let's run around the horn real quick and we'll close out with anything that we'll just a final closing report in case anybody has anything we haven't covered in the meeting. Appreciate everybody's time. That's my statement, and I'll move right along over and turn the floor over to Tyler. If you got anything you want to add around that we may not have covered during the meeting in your space.
Hey, no, just looking forward to what the rest of the year holds. Hopefully I dropped the ball. I was supposed to have try and get some quotes on a 10-meter bandpass filter. Just got busy with work in the Army this month, but I will have that for the next board meeting so that we can hopefully get one in before field day. And we're going to have a great field day this year. So that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Perry?
I have nothing else to add, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. We'll take good notes next week for you.
Thank you.
All right, Jim's out. He's not feeling well. Immediate past president's not present. Adam, anything that we might not have covered?
Nothing to add.
Fantastic. Scott, is there anything we didn't cover that you want to add?
No,
Need to add?
I'm good. Thank you.
Fantastic. I know, just a quick observation, I know you've been getting some help from Matthew, I believe.
I have. So,
And I know that's certainly been appreciated.
yes.
He stepped in and he is liking that role and is eager to help out with that. So that's good to see. All right, we'll move over to Mike.
Nothing to add. Thank you.
All right. Joe, we'll circle around to you.
We got 3 people got their extra class licenses from the extra class. 2 others I'm sure will be trying in the future. The tech class started up on the 24th. We had 16 people in the class. Last night we had 11 in attendance. I'm not sure if the others bowed out or not, but we'll see what happens in 2 weeks. I don't have a class on the 10th. But quite a few questions are coming around. I like it that one of the people in the class is a principal of a high school in Houston, Texas area. And she found out that her office manager was a ham, to where it looks like she'll get her license and they'll probably get a club going in the high school. So that's an enjoyable thing to hear about.
Have you by chance directed her to she could leverage that even further through the
Institute,
ARRL's
yep.
teacher, the
Teachers Institute. She's on a 12-month program as principal, so she doesn't get a summer off. But I spoke about it twice, once the first meeting and once last meeting. So I think she's excited, and she's asking quite a few questions in the class, so that's good.
Fantastic.
I just wish she were here in Memphis.
Totally understand that. We can do the same thing here in Memphis. One of the things that, I'll lob it out there, Joe. One of the things we could do is the Delta Amateur Radio Club is we could adopt a middle school or a high school. That's not a lightweight commitment, granted, but we could certainly do that and bring our Elmering and mentorship to those children that are in that school and give them some STEM hands-on and some experience. And I don't know, I'll throw it out there.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, I think it would be better at a high school level than a middle school. But however, middle school might pay more attention than high schoolers. But anyway, the class is going well, and that's all for right now.
Thank you, sir. We do appreciate all the efforts that you put into the training activities that you've done for the club over the years. I think it's been, 12 or 13 years now?
19. 19th
Fantastic.
year.
19th year. Quite amazing.
Something else that reminds me, in the latest QST, they've got like what is it, like a honor roll, or can't remember what it is now. It's acknowledging all of the top
VEs.
VE testing, and Joe's on it. So Joe's mentioned in the QST.
I haven't read my QST. Didn't know that. Thank you for calling that out, Dan.
Yeah, they come out with it about quarterly with the VE count. I think I've got 311 now.
That is fantastic. I think that's a worthy Sparks article. Dan, do you want to add anything else that we may not have covered?
No, can't think of anything at the moment.
All right, fantastic. Just a quick observation. We do still have 3 appointed positions that are open. If anybody wants to be our PIO or our club historian or club counsel, we do have those positions available. With that, I don't have any old business that was currently on the table. I would look to anyone that might ask out there, just ask someone to join our club. That's the biggest gift we could give our club, is to ask someone to join it. With that, I have no additional business and would certainly entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Perry, seconded by Dan.
Me.
To adjourn. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, everyone. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time. And we'll see you next week.
All right.